Let's get started. To frame our discussion, we consider Kyle Schwarber, a modern power hitter whose statistical signature is as conspicuous as a lighthouse on a foggy coast. This is another lecture. I am Alexei. Today, as it were, we shall analyze a batter whose outcomes tend to be decisive rather than decorative.
Hi, I'm Priyanka. I will mostly ask questions and try not to swing out of my shoes while doing it.
Let's begin with a structural overview. Kyle Joseph Schwarber is an American professional baseball player, a left-handed hitter functioning primarily as a left fielder and designated hitter, and historically an occasional catcher and first baseman, as roster context required. In simpler terms, think of him as a home run machine that, when properly calibrated, generates both electricity and noise. Technically, he embodies what the literature calls a three true outcomes profile. He concentrates offensive value into home runs, walks, and strikeouts. We observe, for example, his 2023 season, a .197 batting average accompanied by 47 home runs and 126 walks, with an MLB-leading 215 strikeouts across 720 plate appearances. Mathematically, a low average does not preclude high run creation if on-base percentage and slugging are large enough, which in his case they were. His batted ball shape is notably fly ball heavy. In 2022, he led MLB with a 51.1% fly ball rate, trading some singles for maximum damage on contact.
So, I guess the simple question is, can we say that his value exceeds what a casual fan might infer from the batting average column? His walks and power move the needle even when the singles do not.
Clearly, in this context, walks are probabilistic oxygen, and home runs are immediate combustion. A designated hitter or corner outfielder who elevates, draws free passes, and punishes mistakes can have elite expected run impact even if the batting average is austere. For example, managers recognizing this have at times batted him leadoff to exploit immediate power and on-base threat. In 2024, he set the single-season MLB record with 14 leadoff home runs.
And positionally, he's mainly left field and DH now, right? But earlier he was developed as a catcher, then kind of adapted as teams needed.
Yes, early with the Cubs, he split time at catcher and outfield. Injuries and optimization shifted him outward and then toward DH. In Boston in 2021, he even cross-trained at first base to fit the lineup. The constant is the bat. The coordinates in the field have been variables. Now, why does this matter? Because Schwarber's approach has influenced modern lineup theory, particularly the acceptance of a power bat in the leadoff spot. Historically, such a low average paired with very high home runs was uncommon and often devalued. But the game's current run value calculus rewards on base and slugging. Thus, his profile is not an exception to the rule, but a demonstration of the new rule.
I'm curious about the first batter thing. Starting a game with a hitter who might walk or homer seems like a psychological and tactical jolt. Does that change how pitchers open games against his teams?
Arguably, yes. It constrains the first inning pitch menu, increases caution on the edges, and raises the cost of a single mistake. We can infer that early count fastballs, if elevated, are particularly at risk. Part of Schwarber's countermeasure to the league's adjustment has been selective aggression, and when challenged, violent efficiency.
Maybe we can map some basic history next. What defines him beyond the box scores?
Let's start with the history. Drafted fourth overall by the Chicago Cubs in June 2014, he signed immediately and flattened minor league pitching that summer with an aggregate .344 average and 18 home runs in 72 games. He debuted in 2015, promptly delivered dramatic late-inning homers against his childhood team, the Reds, and then became a postseason protagonist with prodigious shots, including one that struck Wrigley Field's new right field scoreboard. By his eighth postseason game, he had set a club record for October home runs and surpassed Miguel Cabrera for most in a single postseason by a player 22 or younger.
And the remarkable part, of course, is 2016. He tore his ACL and LCL in April after a collision, was ruled out, and then, returned as a hitter only for the World Series and batted .412 with a .500 on base. He was the first MLB position player to record his first hit of a season in the World Series. That's almost mythic.
In fact, unprecedented. The Cubs, who had declined to trade him mid-season, even while acquiring Aroldis Chapman, reaped the precise benefit they had protected. He took Arizona Fall League at-bats to restore timing, then operated as a designated hitter under medical constraints, providing plate appearances of uncommon poise. Chicago won its first title in 108 years. His contribution is etched in that narrative.
After that, there were adjustments. A tough 2017 with a mid-season demotion, then steady power. Runner-up in the 2018 Home Run Derby to Bryce Harper, 38 homers in 2019. The 2020 season dipped, and the Cubs non-tendered him.
Moving forward, Washington in 2021 unlocked a June outburst rarely seen. 16 home runs in 18 games, including 11 in a 9-game span, tying Frank Howard's 1968 run. An injury intervened. He was traded to Boston, learned first base on the fly, and helped power an ALCS run, including a grand slam in Game 3 that set a postseason series record for team grand slams.
Then Philadelphia in 2022, a 4-year deal. First at bat as a Philly, a home run. He led the National League with 46 homers, led MLB in fly ball percentage, and the team reached the World Series. He hit 3 in that series. Also that season, he introduced Dancing on My Own to the clubhouse after wins, which became a sort of collective identity.
Indeed, in the 2022 NLCS, he struck the farthest StatCast-tracked home run at Petco Park, and the farthest by a Philly in the StatCast era. A blast so long it functioned as a thesis statement. In 2023, he crossed 200 career home runs, hit 47 of them that season, and paired them with 126 walks despite the .197 average. Internationally, he homered in the 2023 World Baseball Classic final off Yu Darvish, as Team USA finished runners-up to Japan, and he returned in 2026 as the U.S. again reached the final, this time falling to Venezuela.
And the leadoff record in 2024 with 14, plus 2 separate 3-homer games that season, including a 5-hit night with a go-ahead shot in the 9th. Then the long on-base streak starting late 2024 into 2025, ending at 47 games.
The 2025 arc is operatic. He reached 300 career home runs, then 30 before the All-Star break, then 4 home runs in a single game in August 2025 against Atlanta, a feat achieved by only 21 players in MLB history and just 4 Phillies ever. He became the second Philly with a 50 home run season, ultimately reaching 55, and set an MLB single-season record for most home runs by a left-handed hitter off left-handed pitchers with 23. He finished second in NL MVP voting behind a unanimous Shohei Ohtani, and then re-signed with Philadelphia on a 5-year contract that December.
By then, he also held postseason records. Most NLCS home runs, most postseason home runs by a left-handed batter with 23, and most postseason leadoff home runs. Tied for third most postseason homers overall with George Springer. That's a lot of October, and a lot of loud October.
And in 2026, he crossed 350 career home runs, made another All-Star team, and finished runner-up in a home run derby held in Philadelphia. Along the way, the human context matters. He grew up a Reds fan in Middletown, Ohio. He was a football linebacker and even in show choir in high school. He starred at Indiana University, excelled on Cape Cod for Wareham with a playoff MVP and later Hall of Fame induction. He has supported first responders through Schwarber's Neighborhood Heroes, reviving the Block Party fundraiser in Philadelphia in 2023. And culturally, he answers to the nickname Schwarbs. Before we get to the complexities, a brief personal analogy. In chess, a player may accept structural weaknesses if they create initiative and immediate threats. Schwarber, especially as a leadoff hitter, is a kind of gambit. You concede some batting average structure to gain tempo. A single swing can seize the center.
So yeah, moving on, can we pose three big questions? Historical, counterfactual, and what comes next?
Big question one. Why did the Cubs retain Schwarber in 2016 rather than include him in a premium reliever trade? The record shows that Theo Epstein declined to move him, and the Cubs still acquired Aroldis Chapman without including Schwarber. Strategically, Chicago preserved the long-term value of an elite bat with years of control while accepting bullpen risk. The payoff was asymmetric. By late October, a medically constrained Schwarber could still deliver plate appearances of high quality, which he did, posting a .412 average and 500 on base in the series. In expected runs terms, his bat offered more leverage in the World Series context than a marginal bullpen upgrade would have offered over 7 games.
Can we say the trade-off was between a more certain regular season bullpen edge and the possibility of a singular October impact from his bat? Probabilistically messy, but the outcome speaks loudly.
Precisely. The marginal value of another reliever was bounded by usage and diminishing returns. The potential value of an impact bat inserted into the middle of a World Series lineup, even as a DH, was sufficiently large to justify the hold, especially given franchise horizon thinking. As it were, history validated the decision. Big question 2. What if Schwarber had not suffered the 2016 knee injury? The likely consequence is an accelerated stat line. Without time lost, his career home run totals would have advanced sooner. His integration at catcher might have persisted a bit longer before the inevitable optimization toward corner outfield and DH. We can infer that his early career narrative would have emphasized continuous development rather than heroic interruption. However, the magical World Series return would not exist, and the mythos that accompanies it would be absent.
I wonder about defense here. If he had stayed healthy, do we think he would have logged more innings behind the plate? Or was the trend already toward moving him to protect the bat?
To some extent, the trajectory was already set. Scouts projected corner positions as the optimal home to maximize offensive value. Absent injury, the timetable might have been slower, perhaps with more catching appearances as a transitional phase. But the league's eventual equilibrium looks much like what we saw: left field and DH, with lineup construction dictating the rest, as in Boston's 2021 first base experiment. Big question 3. How will Schwarber's career evolve within current MLB dynamics? We observe several relevant vectors. First, pitchers have increased breaking ball usage against power left-handers. In 2019, he saw MLB's highest curveball rate. His counter has been selective aggression and punishing mistakes, which notably culminated in a 2025 season where he set the single-season record for left-on-left home runs with 23. That suggests improved pitch recognition and contact management against traditional platoon disadvantages.
So, if adaptability is the key word, what research questions would we pose? Like, can we quantify how hitters like him maintain value as contact rates ebb with age?
Several lines suggest themselves. 1. Model the interaction of swing decision quality and fly ball volume as the primary driver of aging resilience. 2. Examine left-on-left improvement as a function of pitch recognition training and game planning, given his 2025 breakthrough. 3. Evaluate the lineup leverage of leadoff power in postseason contexts, where early leads distort opponent bullpen usage. And of course, longitudinally track the sustainability of extremely high walk rates as a buffer against contact volatility.
Building on that, does the club environment matter here too? I mean, the song in the clubhouse, the first responders charity, the way teammates rally. Could those social inputs subtly stabilize performance for players with boom-bust distributions?
It is worth noting, while not easily quantifiable, consistent cultural scaffolding can reduce variance in decision quality by improving focus and recovery from failure. Schwarber's reputation as a tone setter, from the anthem to community engagement, suggests a feedback loop wherein leadership and performance reinforce each other. It does not add exit velocity. It may, however, add equilibrium.
And we shouldn't forget the international layer. Homers in the Little League World Series, the MLB World Series, and the WBC Final. That continuum of stage pressure is rare. Maybe a useful case study in situational readiness.
Fundamentally, yes. Few careers intersect those three finals. Fewer still produce a home run in all of them. The through line is not accident. It is a consistent capacity to elevate swing speed and selectivity when marginal pitch availability is at its scarcest. To summarize, Kyle Schwarber is a power hitter in the modern sense, a specialist in home runs and walks whose fly ball architecture creates both volatility and great value. We examined three questions: why the Cubs kept him in 2016, and how that choice unlocked a historic World Series cameo. How an injury-free 2016 might have altered the pacing, but not the destination of his defensive role. And how current dynamics suggest continued relevance through selective aggression, improved left-on-left results, and strategic lineup deployment. For further study, we recommend analysis on the longevity of three true outcome sluggers, the tactical value of leadoff power in October, and the mechanisms by which cultural leadership mediates performance variance. In conclusion, thank you for listening. Keep your eye not only on the ball, but on the distribution of outcomes.
Thank you, Professor. That was helpful to think through, actually.